In 2026, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm shooting film. Not full-time, I'm not abandoning digital, but I'm intentionally learning something new, slowing down, thinking differently, and expanding my capabilities as a photographer. So today, I want to break down my starter film setup, the camera I chose, the film I'm using, and why this makes sense for me right now. I've been shooting digital for years, and I love it, but film forces you to be present. You can't spray and pray. You actually have to think about light, composition, and timing. For me, shooting film in 2026 is about wanting something different, learning a new process, and sharpening instincts that carry back into my digital work. So instead of jumping straight into some expensive vintage setup, I wanted something simple, modern, and beginner friendly. This is the Kodak Snapic A1 35mm film camera. Pocket point and shoot film cameras are having a real comeback right now for most, and this one is a little bit more advanced without charging a crazy premium. This camera is actually made by Rito, a Hong Kong-based camera company that licenses the Kodak brand. And this Snapic A1 is a full-frame 35mm film camera designed for beginners and film lovers. Let's talk features, because this is where this camera gets interesting. You have a 25mm 3-element glass lens that's nice and wide for everyday shooting. You have auto wind, auto rewind, and auto flash, which makes it super approachable if you're new to film like I am. Instead of autofocus, this camera uses a 2-zone focusing system, 0.5 to 1.5 meters for close-ups and portraits, and then 1.5 meters to infinity for everything else. I do wish this camera had autofocus, but for the price, zone focus works as well. This camera is fast, it's simple, and it doesn't require you to overthink too much. One of my favorite features of this camera, even though I haven't used it yet, is the double exposure mode. You can literally blend 2 scenes into one image, and it's toggled by a switch in the front. And flash can even be used during multiple exposure mode, which opens up a lot of creative possibilities. The built-in auto flash also has red eye reduction, which comes in clutch for night shoots and indoor stuff. Design-wise, it's minimal, clean, and understated. This looks like, that cheap point and shoot you can get from Target or wherever. This camera is lightweight, compact, and easy to throw in any bag or any pocket, which matters because film cameras are only fun if you can actually carry them around. Up on top is a small OLED screen that shows battery life, focus settings, zone focus position, and how many shots you have on the roll. Let's not forget, you can also determine what flash setting you're using. And this OLED screen is a really modern touch that I didn't expect. This camera also does come with a neck strap, but in the strap compartment, it's open. So when I try to put in the strap, the little hook just goes into the battery compartment, which is a design flaw. So I just hold this just like this in my hand. You don't really need a strap. It's super tiny and lightweight anyway, and I haven't dropped it yet, and I've been using it for I think 2 months now. You also do get a camera pouch, which is a nice bonus as well. This camera is indeed great, but there is a few things that I don't like. For some reason, this camera runs on 2 AAA batteries. It's 2026. Just put everything with a rechargeable battery and USB-C. Especially if this camera is trying to feel modern, just put a rechargeable battery in here and make it USB-C. Maybe it would have made the camera a little bit bigger. Maybe it would have increased the price by $5 or $10, but overall, it would have been great. The aperture on this camera, for some reason, is also 9.5. Not the best. And the shutter speed is locked in at 1/100th of a second. Also not great. At the time of recording this video, I have finished 1 camera roll so far, but I have yet to get it developed, so I don't know how any of my photos look. But the combo of the 9.5 aperture and the shutter speed that's that slow gives me a little bit of worry just in general, and especially for low light. But the flash on here is super bright. But we do get fancy features like double exposure, auto flash, auto motor advance, and an OLED screen. So, you gotta take the good with the bad in a sense. What I did wish was autofocus. There's no autofocus, there's no auto exposure. There should be though. But, I haven't mentioned the price yet. This is only $100. So it's not that bad. It's just you get trade-offs. But I feel like in this day and age, those super cool features that I did mention may be cheap to implement, while amazing autofocus just might not be. With a shutter speed that slow and an aperture that high, this camera is going to force good light. You need good light. The film I'm starting with this is the Kodak Ultramax 400. It's like $7 a roll for 36 shots. So that's what I'm running with right now. But I did get some Portra 400 as well and Fujifilm 400. Getting back to Ultramax though, Ultramax is one of Kodak's most affordable consumer films. And I guess you would say it's, very much aimed at beginners. I personally chose Ultramax because it's affordable, easy to use, and it's forgiving. At ISO of 400, you can't go wrong. With an ISO of 400, you can shoot in lower light and still get usable images, which is important with a camera like this that has so many limitations. With Ultramax, you can buy it in a 24 or 36 exposure roll, around $7 for the 24 and around $10 for 36. So yeah, when it comes to Ultramax, I bought a single roll and I bought a 3-pack, so I have 4 rolls so far, but I only have one that's complete and I have one more that's currently in this camera. And when it comes to Ultramax, it uses the standard C41 processing, so it should be easy and relatively cheap to develop as well. I'll be taking mine straight to a local film shop. I'm not going to Target or Walmart or Walgreens, none of that. I'm going right to a film shop who specializes in developing film just to make sure that my film looks the best and I can get the most out of it. Ultramax is also known for bright, saturated colors, which honestly fits right into my look and how I shoot digitally anyway. So yeah, this is my first impression of the Kodak Snapic A1 without seeing any images so far, and this is my starter film camera setup for 2026. I'm excited, I'm curious, and I'm fully prepared to mess up some rolls, even though I know it's going to cost me a lot of money. But that's the point. I'll be back soon with a long-term review once I've actually lived with this camera for a little bit longer and seen the results. If you've shot film before or you're thinking about starting, drop a comment and let me know what you're shooting with, film and camera. This is something light, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.